Guys, over the last 2 days, we've seen an incredible quarterfinals. We saw Portugal bow out of the FIFA World Cup against Spain, and Argentina narrowly escaped Egypt yesterday. And especially because of what happened in yesterday's game, which sparked a lot of controversy, we have seen how social media has been reacting. A lot of people have taken this opportunity to basically scream their conspiracy theories and everything else. And obviously, that is not going to end. I think a lot of people after the game between Argentina and Egypt, we knew what was going to happen on social media and we knew how people were going to react to it. But guys, this is a very, very different video to what you guys have been seeing in the past 2 days. Because even 2 days ago, when Spain knocked out Portugal, social media went crazy because it was Ronaldo's final game. And people did their thing as usual. But like I said, this is a very different video because this video, guys, this video is going to focus on the Messi Cristiano Ronaldo debate and how I believe it has basically ruined this special World Cup, this special tournament, the last tournament we're going to see these two men play for their countries. In a tournament that should have been celebrated, where we should have acknowledged and enjoyed what we were seeing on the pitch. I feel that we have ended up watching this World Cup and seeing nothing more than what we've been seeing in the past 10 to 15 years. I have to say this. I grew up a Barca fan. So obviously, I have always leaned towards Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi, in my opinion, is the greatest of all time. Number one, right? Incredible player. But the kind of football fan I've always been someone that's always appreciated great players. Even for my rivals. I don't like them when they do it for my rivals, but I can appreciate seeing what they're doing. And Cristiano Ronaldo, even as a Barca fan, I never had any ill will or animosity towards him. I always admired and appreciated Cristiano Ronaldo. He was an incredible footballer. And maybe it was my way of thinking and looking at the game that always made me not always take their rivalry seriously. But I have to say this now. The media, they have created this rivalry and made it something that growing up I always detested. They've made this rivalry a hero versus villain kind of rivalry. When this whole basically competition between these two started happening, especially when both of them were playing for Barcelona and Real Madrid, I slowly witnessed how the media basically tried to create a hero and a villain in the story. And even as a Messi fan, I am not afraid to admit this. There's no denial that in the media's eyes, Messi was always the hero. Why was he the hero? Because of who he was as a person. We all know, we've seen it, right? Lionel Messi is a very shy person. This is who he is. Everyone that knows him knows this about him. He's not really someone that is, he's always someone that's always calm. He's always chilled. He doesn't really like to get into the extravagant stuff. He always tries to keep it low key. That's who he is as a person, who he has always been, right? He's always someone that, he's very careful with his words, doesn't really say much, doesn't want to be caught into controversy. And in that kind of mindset, he's always been looked as a well-behaved kind of person, which I believe that he is, right? His whole career, this is who he's always been. And then you look at Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo is not a bad boy. Cristiano Ronaldo is not a troublemaker. But what Cristiano Ronaldo is, he is a man who carries his heart on his sleeve. He's a guy that says what he thinks. He's not someone that sugarcoats his words. He's not a Messi. He's not a person that you would consider a shy person. He's a guy that puts it out there. You know, he drives the fanciest cars. He dresses up nice. He takes care of himself. He's not afraid to live his life his own way. And I've never had a problem with it. Listen, more power to you. Do your thing, right? And he's clearly someone that's never been short of confidence, right? He's a guy who grew up, poor, had a dream, and he worked hard to be as good as he is. And he believes in his heart that he is the greatest of all time. Many fans obviously don't agree with his opinion. But at the end of the day, who cares? There's nothing wrong with him having self-belief in his own abilities. But the media, they saw that as arrogance. They saw that as basically him looking down on others. I saw it from a young age, how the English media, when he was in England, they were used to attack him all the time, right? Because of who he was. And, Cristiano Ronaldo, you can tell, like I mentioned, he is a very emotional person. He reacts to the way people talk about him, right? He tries to ignore it, but you can tell sometimes when he's responding, you can tell sometimes the media, the things they say about him, it gets to him. And that is why the media had a fun time always making him the villain. Because they always wanted a reaction out of him. It was the opposite with Lionel Messi. Messi was someone who, no matter what people said, he never really said nothing. Even if it bothered him, he always did a good job in hiding it. So people, they tried, they always failed because Messi never showed them what they wanted to see. And it's because of that people, the media created this narrative of Messi is the good guy, Ronaldo is the bad guy. And even as a Messi fan, like I mentioned, I can see, I've never agreed with that. Because that is not the case. Like these two, it's very evident they don't hate each other. Ronaldo doesn't hate Messi. If anything, he respects the guy. They're not friends, but they respect each other, right? Messi respects Ronaldo. There's no animosity between the two. The media tried their best to create some kind of like personal animosity. There's nothing there. It's never been something. But when I look at Cristiano Ronaldo, and I can say this even as a Messi fan, Ronaldo has every right to think of himself as the greatest. Look at where this guy came from. Look at the things he's been through. Look at how much he had to work to get here. And yet, even in this World Cup, I witnessed it from the opening game when he had a poor game. Portugal had a poor game. But Ronaldo was in the centerpiece of it. They created all kind of smear campaign on him. They all looked down upon him. And they treated him very badly. And I can say that I hated the way the media portrayed Ronaldo in this World Cup. Because I don't believe that a man who is 41 years old should be expected to be playing as if he's in his prime years. I'm not surprised with Ronaldo's performances. Ronaldo is playing like his age. And the problem is, when you look at the Portugal team, it's a bigger issue because none of their big stars stepped up in this tournament. Not one. If any of them were to put in half of their work, maybe Ronaldo wouldn't have looked as bad as he is. But the media never put it that way. And I hated it. Even as a Messi fan. Because I appreciate Ronaldo and I really wanted him to have a good tournament. I really wanted him to score some goals, do his thing for the last time. And this is the last thing I'm going to say. The reason why I've always despised this debate between Ronaldo and Messi, to be honest, is this. Some of these fans, both fans, not just Barcelona, not just Messi and Ronaldo fans, both fans. Some of our fans are genuinely, they're crazy. Like they're dumb. Absolutely dumb. This idea that you can like one basically means you have to hate the other. It's embarrassing. I don't know why Messi fans choose to hate Ronaldo. Like, some of them they troll and this, but some of them you can tell there's genuine animosity. They don't like this dude. And why do they not like him? Because they're obsessed with Messi. Same thing applies with Ronaldo fans. Sometimes you listen to Ronaldo fans, it's like you just can't appreciate both. You can't be like, okay, I'm a Messi fan. I still appreciate Ronaldo. I still love Ronaldo. I think Ronaldo is a great player. I'm a Ronaldo fan, but hey, power to Messi, man. I love Messi. Messi is incredible. They just can't do that. You gotta hate. And sometimes they say, oh, we're just trolling. No, sometimes you can tell these people, sometimes this really gets to them when Messi is having a good tournament. When Messi is having a good game. When Messi scores goals, it boils their blood. Boils their blood. Even at this point, at the age of these guys' careers, when they are basically on the tail end and they are about to ride into the sunset, there's still another part of them that still wants to just sit there and be like, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy this tournament for what it is. It's a joke. And I am not like a lot of these people. But people need to wake the hell up. Do you realize, to all Ronaldo and Messi fans watching this video, do you realize that you will never see these two players like this in your lives again? I don't care who you bring up. Yamal, Haaland, flipping Mbappe. Let me tell you something. What we witnessed for the past 2 decades will not be repeated in my lifetime. I hope it is. But to see two players of this level on their prime years, when these guys were putting 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 goals in our competitions every season, not just 1 or 2 seasons, we're talking about 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons in a row, competitive wise. You think that you will ever see anything like this again? You're dreaming. And finally, this is the one reason why this whole Messi and Ronaldo debate is so pointless. I hate, especially this is another thing that the media have done, and this is just the media, the fans, everyone, but I feel like this rivalry, the worst thing it's done, it's that it's negated what some of these two players have actually achieved, especially when it comes to Ronaldo. When you look at Cristiano, when Messi won the World Cup, everybody, especially Messi fans, they took that opportunity to just say, okay, well, where's Ronaldo's World Cup? Ronaldo needs to win the World Cup now for there to be a debate. He has to win the World Cup to be in the conversation of one of the greatest to ever do it. He needs to win the World Cup. And this just reminds me of what happened almost 10 years ago when Ronaldo won Euro 2016. And you had all of these Ronaldo fans all coming up and saying until he wins an international trophy, the debate is over. Ronaldo did it with his country. Ronaldo did it with his country. Ronaldo did it with his country. And as a result of that, when Messi won the 2 Copa Americas and the World Cup, all of a sudden you just saw this shift change. All of a sudden now you started seeing people just talking about Ronaldo's international career like it was just garbage. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you guys something right now. Let's just put it out there. Do you realize that Portugal are not one of the big boys in world football? Do you guys realize that Portugal are not one of the big boys? Ronaldo actually made Portugal relevant. Listen, Portugal have a rich history with football. I'm not denying that, right? They've got players like Eusebio. You had players like Rui Costa, Luis Figo. So many greats before Ronaldo. I am not denying that. Of course, great players. But it's kind of like I look at them like I look at like a country like Belgium. Like people think Belgium are a big nation. Belgium are not a big nation. They've got a lot of big names, but they've never been one of the big boys in world football because they've never won anything. Portugal before Ronaldo, ladies and gentlemen, go look at the numbers. I think Portugal only qualified for like 3 World Cups before Ronaldo even made his debut. 3 World Cups. 3. They had never even sniffed at an international trophy. Not the Euros, not the World Cup. And Cristiano Ronaldo, in his years as a professional footballer, not only made them relevant and took them to every single Euros and every single World Cup, but he actually won them a European championship. And the sad thing is, now that Messi has won the World Cup, everybody has now chosen to overlook what Ronaldo has done. Do you realize that even without that World Cup, Ronaldo has done what he did in an international level? It probably never be replicated by any Portuguese player ever until one of them wins the World Cup. Do you realize that? Do you realize that wherever Portuguese football goes to now, right? If they go on to win another Euros or win another World Cup, people are going to remember this era of Ronaldo and realize that this is where the shift changed. This is where we went from being a nation that was just there for the vibes to actually being a competitive nation. Ronaldo did that. Ronaldo is the reason why Portugal are relevant now. Portugal were never relevant before Ronaldo. Portuguese fans, you let me know. Because I know that you guys were not in the World Cup in 98. You didn't qualify for the World Cup in 94. I don't think you guys even qualified for 99. I think you guys were in the 86 World Cup. So you guys were in the 1966-1986 World Cup. And then that was it, I think. Think about that for 1 second. 1966 and 1986 was, I think, the only 2 World Cups they qualified, and 2002 were like the only 3 World Cups they qualified before Ronaldo. And Ronaldo qualified for every World Cup since. Who remembers in 2013 when they were on the verge of elimination and Ronaldo had to score a hat-trick against Sweden and against Zlatan? And this is what I mean about how this debate has ruined both of these guys. Because I genuinely believe that if Ronaldo was born in any other era where nobody was in the level of him, people would have been talking about him way more higher. But because he's playing in the same era as Messi, you will always have Messi fans that will always downplay what he's doing. And the same thing applies with Ronaldo fans. Ronaldo fans will always downplay everything Messi does and just talk about conspiracy. It's an embarrassment. Why are you guys so insecure about Messi winning? If you believe that Ronaldo is the greatest, you don't have to be insecure. You can appreciate Messi's greatness and Ronaldo's greatness. Be like, listen, I lean towards Ronaldo. He is my guy. But no, you gotta hate. Well, listen, you guys continue to hate. Do whatever you want. At the end of the day, at this point in my life, I'm enjoying this. And Ronaldo just got knocked out. It was heartbreaking. It was sad. To see him for the last time in the World Cup, it was heartbreaking. And Argentina, they keep moving. Who knows what they're going to do in this tournament? But whatever happens, I'm just happy to have seen these 2 players in the world stage one last time. From the bottom of my heart, thank you to both of these players. And to everyone who's watching this video, just realize you were watching greatness for the last time. Peace. Take care.